Everyone, thank you very much for coming today. We're so happy to have you. We have a really special presentation today. If you'd like to know more about what we do, give us a call. We match the equity passive investor to the right syndicator in the commercial real estate asset, which builds and protects your financial freedom choices. We like to see everyone happy with what they have in their nest, filled with lots of different eggs. And I have a couple quotes today. This pertains to the business solutions that Gary and Brad are going to speak about. So this really should be the closing line. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. And that's Napoleon Hill, if you know who he is. And the other is, I can't help this one. This is Lewis Carroll. Why sometimes I believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. And that is the Red Queen speaking to Alice in the Alice in Wonderland book by Lewis Carroll. So today we have Gary Burns. Walter's part of his team. Brad is his partner. And I've known Gary for as long as we've had the show on, which has been about 4 years. Gary is one of those entrepreneurs that has his hands in so many different directions. It's always fun to hear what's going on in his life. He's making, he's got a company that makes tomato chips, and they're getting into lots of different stores. He is sitting on the water board in Calabasas Arena, making water better for all of us. I wish I could say he's bringing more of it to us, but I don't know if that'll happen in California. We'll see. Plus, he has the tax, I forgot what the tax thing is called, where he can, if you have a business and you're paying more than $50,000 in taxes, he could get you your money back. And then he's got this solution. Didn't you work on the for the employers getting money back for their employees last year? Yeah. So I mean, Gary's a guy. If you need a solution, you should call Gary, because I bet you he's got 100 ideas that'll help you move forward. So Brad and Gary, welcome. We're so thrilled to hear you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. And Patricia, I know, I'm not sure where you are, but I feel like your background is something from Back to the Future. I can't see everything back there. And your name, your last name, kind of reminds me of Mr. Malixaplix from Superboy or Superman. And I never knew even how to say that name. I read it for years as a child until some TV show came out, and now I know how to say his name. But what's the background of that?
It's my messy house.
No, the background of your last name.
Oh. So my father-in-law said it was Austrian. However, we met somebody online who had a very similarly spelled name, had an H instead of a Z, who was actually Ukrainian.
Ah, Rosettello? How do you say it?
Rosettello. Yeah.
Rosettello.
I actually think he was, I was under the impression he was Ukrainian, so I think it's Ukrainian.
I'll just call you Tylo. Makes it easy.
Just call me Patricia, that's fine.
So let me start off by saying thank you very much, Peggy. Great introduction. Yes, if anybody has any question, if you need to know how to buy a car, how to put your license plates on, deal with anything, anywhere, including anybody that's in another foreign country that answers the phone, or AI, computerization. God, I called Acura yesterday, and I called some bank the other day, and a hospital yesterday, and darn, you just got to have a human being, especially someone in Ohio who's Midwest and sweet, and before you even say 3 words, they know what you want to say. So we're going to see how understanding everybody is of what Brad and I are going to say today. But very much so what you were talking about, Peggy, was research and development funds, R&D funds. Brad and I worked on that for the last 10 years. We still do it. There are businesses where they are doing unique and innovative opportunities in their business, and the government wants to help them grow. So they return part of their funds. And if those funds go back to the business that's being innovative and creative, they're even more innovative and creative, and they hire more employees, and those employees spend money in the local economy. And everything Brad and I do with tax advantage material is the government does it for specifically that reason, so that more money is spent locally. That R&D started back in the 80s when they wanted car companies to, or the thousands of small businesses that supplied the car companies, to become more creative, because so many cars were coming from overseas with inventions that we didn't have. And they would incentivize those companies. And for 20 years, they did that. And in 2001, they applied it over many, many companies. And up until just recently over the pandemic, it was pretty reasonable. It's a little tighter now, but it's one of the things that we do. And we take referrals, and we provide referral income to people who do refer clients. But today, we're going to talk about, and Brad will get into this a little bit, the next thing that we actually ran into because of the work we did with R&D. There's a company called Champion Health, and it provides tax advantage payroll health plans that are very unique in that, in general, and Brad will probably hit me for saying it this way, they pay you back for being on the plan. Essentially, they turn some of your payroll into non-taxable payroll. And instead of going home with $5,000 a month, or if you're really wealthy, $15,000 a month, you go home with $5,500. And there's a certain cost to the program, but overall, the employer, the employee all make out better and have this incredible health program that Brad's going to start to explain, because he does the slides, I do the introduction. So Brad, take it away.
All right, great. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And can somebody nod and tell me they can see it?
Perfect.
Perfect. All right. So first things first, full disclosure, Gary and I have next to our names Champion Health. We're representing Champion Health. Technically, we are Business Link Solutions. Champion Health is the wonderful company that's brought this solution to us. And it came to Gary and I because of all the work we've done. The last decade, our focus has been saving small business owners money on their taxes. So there's lots of things in the tax code that small business owners might not know about. And our goal at the end of the day is to mitigate their tax liability. So this came across to us a couple years back. And it's kind of full circle for Gary and I, because we started our careers in health insurance. What I'm about to show you is not health insurance, but it works in conjunction with health insurance. And it's the way health insurance and care is moving. It's going to be cheaper, better, stronger, faster, especially with the advent of AI. So what I'm going to show you today is the CHAMP plan from Champion Health. It is the world's first proactive health improvement plan. It's a health management plan that is AI enabled, and it runs on a smartphone app. Okay. This is not a new plan. It's been around, excuse me. It's been around for about, and it's not something that everybody's heard about, but many large companies have deployed it in-house, and some of them are on the screen here. There are thousands of users. Currently, there's over 10,000 people enrolled in this thing. And two of the interesting companies that are not on this screen, ADP, the largest payroll company in the country, they have now started to offer this plan in-house to their employees. And Amazon has now started rolling this out to their various distribution centers. So just a couple things that give it a little bit more credibility. So this is something that's not designed to replace or compete with a major medical plan. I want to reiterate, it's not health insurance. It's designed to complement or be a frontline defense to your major medical. But it is strong enough to stand on its own. We run into a lot of employers who, for whatever reason, can't afford to or won't offer their employees health insurance. And by offering this does meet the ACA requirements for minimum essential coverage. And I'm going to walk through some of the benefits here so you can see how that works. And as Gary mentioned in the introduction, full-time employees that enroll in this, generally, they're going to see their paychecks go up. They're going to see their paychecks go up because of the payroll tax savings just by participating in the CHAMP plan. While there's an associated cost to the plan, the cost is more than made up by this tax savings. So this is a list of some of the major benefits within the CHAMP plan. As I said, it's a smartphone app, and it gives the person who's enrolled unlimited primary care visits and urgent care visits. It uses the First Health Network. It's one of the 3 largest health networks in the country. So odds are your doctor is in the First Health Network, and it allows them to see the doctor either virtually through the app on the phone or in person as often as they need to, with 0 copays. It pays 100% for all these visits or consultations. It also has 0 copays on all your standard lab work, blood work, imaging, x-rays, MRIs. And let me just point out these first 2 benefits here, even health insurance doesn't offer these 2 things. All health insurance plans have copays and deductibles. With the CHAMP plan, your office visits and all your lab work are at 0 copays, nothing out of pocket. Hence, people will use this before they'll use their health insurance. That and the fact that, as I'll show you, this is so easy and convenient to use. Next, 100% preventative care. Well, in all honesty, most or all health plans by law have to offer this. But what that means is your annual checkup, your annual woman's wellness, your annual mammogram, your annual colonoscopy, those kinds of things are 100% paid for. The next one is unique to this plan. I've never seen a health insurance plan with 0 copays for prescriptions, but this one has 0 or a $1 copay for medications. And that extends beyond the employee to their family as well. The next thing on here, this direct primary care from Champion Health, is probably Gary and my favorite benefit. It's because we've had so much experience with the health insurance industry. Sometimes I'm ashamed to be associated with the health insurance agency industry because it is so impossible to navigate your own major medical plan for a lot of people, especially if they're enrolled in an HMO. Navigating through the system and getting checkoffs and going through primary care physicians, sometimes getting care, it almost seems like it's a maze, or it's more hassle than it's worth. With the Champion Health Plan, you have access to a concierge service where you'll have a medical professional, a fully licensed doctor, advocate on your behalf, not just with your health insurance, but help you navigate or deal with any health issue that you have going on. I can't tell you how much of a time saver this is. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients who couldn't get anywhere and they needed to see a doctor right away. And it was just like banging their head against the wall with their health insurance, and bringing this advocate onto the call. They knew exactly what to do and were able to get them to set up an appointment either that day or sometimes the next day where they had been told, oh, it's going to be 4 or 6 weeks before we can get you in front of a doctor. There's also personal and mental health things, with a lot of things that people are dealing with these days, with depression, anxiety, ADHD, that kind of stuff. A lot of that stuff is also available for both the employee and the family. Last fall, they added this: unlimited virtual veterinary visits. We got that notice that this was now part of the plan, and we kind of rolled our eyes and thought, well, who's going to want that? It turns out it's the most popular feature in the plan now. You can get unlimited virtual veterinarian care for your dogs and cats, and people get more excited about that than being able to take care of themselves and their family. But I guess our dogs and cats are our family in a lot of cases. There's another benefit in here called Champ Shield, and that is if an employee feels like they possibly are being harassed or discriminated against in the workplace. A lot of times they don't want to speak up or do anything for fear of retaliation. They can get a professional involved in this and have them kind of help them navigate through that process without fear of retaliation. All right, so let's talk about the CHAMP plan itself. This is an app that you would log into every month. You're prompted by the app because when you first onboard, and Gary and I, part of our job is to help all the employees get onboarded with this, the app will prompt you and it will ask you It'll ask you what, if any, health issues you're dealing with, or that you might have concerns about. A lot of people, might be having high blood pressure issues, or maybe they're having diabetes issues, or maybe they're having issues with they want to stop smoking, or they want to stop or they want to lose weight. Anything. It can be anything related to health. And what will happen is the experience they have with the app will be customized to them. One of the neatest features in here is an FDA registered scanning technology that allows you to hold your phone up to your face for 30 seconds, and it will give you readouts on all these medical metrics: your heart rate, your breathing rate, your risk for cardiovascular disease, your risk for heart attack or stroke. It'll let you know your blood pressure. I know it's unbelievable that it can just look at your face and tell your blood pressure, but the thing is scary accurate. And what you'll see here are these dial metrics. And basically, this whole system is working on what's called the predictive medical or medicine model. What we're trying to do is find things before they creep up and become overblown, full-blown medical events that might become costly in terms of treatment or costly in terms of time with missed work. If anything on these dials start to tip out of the green into the yellow or orange zone, the subscriber will be prompted, hey, concerned, would you like to speak to a doctor about this? I can either get one on the phone with you right now, or we can schedule an in-person appointment. Again, most things, if they're caught early, a lot of pain and aggravation and expense can be mitigated, not to mention the staving off of potential loss of work time. I don't know why my slide's not changing. There we go. All right. So as I mentioned, this works on the predictive medical model. What we're trying to do is catch things early. If we can keep the employee happy, and we know statistically, remember, I told you there's over 10,000 people on this for a decade now. If we can keep the employee happy, they're healthy, they're going to be happier. So it's a benefit for the employer as much as it is a benefit for the employee. All right. I want to talk a little bit about how the billing on this works and how we're able to use the tax code to make this not just a zero cost, but a less than zero cost to the employer and the employee. So I'm going to walk you through.
Am I causing a problem, Brad, with my typing?
Are you causing a problem?
Yeah, I know why you start to walk through. It sounds like your slides are not moving as fast as you want them to.
I don't know.
And we
Okay.
can't hear Brad sometimes.
Yeah, every once in a while you're dropping out.
Hmm.
Well, go ahead. Go from here.
All right. So the way this works is every time the enrollee uses it, we're generating standard medical industry billing codes. That allows us to do the billing that we're going to do for the CHAMP plan to enable it to be tax-free. So I'm going to show you an example paycheck of an employee who has the CHAMP plan versus where they would be if they did not have the CHAMP plan. If I can get my slide to change. Okay, so in this example here, this is Mr. John Smith. And in this example on the left, his gross pay per month, $4,549, which is kind of an average pay in this country. But that's not what he sees on his paycheck every month, because as we all know, all of us who've ever been a W-2 employee, Uncle Sam takes his bite, in this case, $431.34. The state of California, in this example, is taking $124. He's got a $64 contribution to Medicare. Social Security takes a bite. and his disability takes a bite as well. That leaves him a net paycheck of $32.40. $32.40 is what he's taking home based on his gross pay of $45.49. On the left here, on the right-hand side here, is the same example, same employee, Mr. John Smith, only now he's enrolled in the CHAMP plan. What that allows the employer and the payroll to do is offer $1,200 of his pay pre-tax. So $1,200 of his pay now is going to be pre-taxed, and that's going to reduce the impact on his payroll taxes. Instead of $431 in federal income tax, he's now paying $286. Instead of state taxes of $124, it's dropped to $58. And instead of $64 on Medicare, it's $46, and on down the line. What CHAMP does, though, is they don't offer this for free. There is a cost to it, and the cost to the plan, to the employee, that is $190 a month. But the tax savings in this example is $325 a month. So that leaves a net surplus, an increase in the employee's paycheck of $126, which again is right about the average for the typical employee. If it's a higher paid employee, they might see a bigger increase in their take-home pay. If they work less than full time, or they're a lower paid employee, they might only see an increase of $50 or $80 in their paycheck. But overall, they're going to see a positive impact on their paycheck. And again, that's to the employee. And this is taking advantage.
So he's gone again.
Uh-oh. Am I here?
So what's it do for the employee?
It reduces their payroll taxes here.
Okay.
So it reduces their payroll taxes to increase their paycheck. So in this example, their paycheck has gone from $32.40, which is what it was before they had the CHAMP plan, to $33.63, an increase of $126 or so, because they now have the CHAMP benefit. I don't know where I cut out. Can everybody hear me now?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay. I think what happens is when I try to change my slide, that's where I start to zoom out. Okay. So I just walked you through how the employee saves money by having this plan on their take-home pay. Now let's look at the employer. The employer is also seeing a reduction in payroll to the tune of $1,200 per employee per month. And that has a consequence on their FICA contributions. The employer has to match or put in FICA contributions for each employee. And what that works out to is a payroll savings to the employer of $91.80. Now, they have a $44 admin fee that goes towards the CHAMP plan, but that still leaves a surplus of $47.80 per employee per month. If you multiply it out by 12 months, the employer is $60 per employee in payroll taxes per month. I'm sorry, per year, just by offering the CHAMP plan. And
What
on this,
about the Social Security?
well, they don't employers don't match. It's the FICA that's matched.
It's changed.
So on this example here, in a company with 100 employees, you're looking at the employer saving $57,000 in payroll tax. That can add up significantly for the employer. So on the employee side, they've given their employees a raise. It's an average of $125 a month. And the employer is saving approximately $47 per month on payroll taxes.
Okay.
So I want to, before I wrap this up, let me look at the chat and see what kind of questions we've got going on here. Gary, can you unmute and read some of these questions off?
Okay. I actually was typing so much I didn't see the questions yet.
Okay.
So
So Angel Angel said Medicare, Medicaid is matched too. She just made a comment.
Right. That's a good question. Whatever that changes, and there are some changes there, then it gets slightly reduced, I believe, but I'm not sure I'm answering the question correctly. We'll see if Brad knows a better answer.
I don't. What we've seen is the FICA contribution is what's reduced. I don't believe if that matches there, it's in the FICA contribution.
Yeah, I don't know where the Medicaid, Medicare comes out.
But let me just briefly explain, since overall payroll is going down and overall payroll for the employer as well as the employee, the Medicare, Medicaid matching or actual amount may go down. We'll have to find that answer out.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt and go to questions.
That's perfectly fine.
You got
That's
you got
okay.
2 or 3 minutes left, so we could go to questions.
Okay, so but yeah, let me wrap it up. So what Gary and our job is to present this to the employer, to educate them that this exists. What we'll do is we'll run ahead of a presentation like this. We'll kind of run our numbers in our head for that employer. We'll know ahead of time how many employees they have, so we can give them rough ideas on what their savings is going to be. But when we get through the end, what we'll do is we'll offer to get them an actual report that will show them to the penny what they can expect to save in terms of their FICA matching and what their employees can expect to see on the increases on their paychecks. If they like everything they see and the numbers make sense, what we'll do is we'll set up a call with their payroll company and get them up to speed on how to deploy this. We will bring in the team from Champion Health to create all the materials and marketing materials for the company. We will do education for all the employees, and we will help them deploy this. It typically takes us about a month from the time the client says, yes, we want to do this until we get everybody up on board and they can start realizing the benefits and the savings. So that's what Gary and I do. Our whole mission is to A, get the employer to see the benefits here, and B, to help them make the transition and the onboarding of this as smooth as possible. So again, that's the CHAMP plan. Again, it's taking section 125 and making this plan work in terms of the payroll tax savings. And that's how we're able to, again, not just offer this fantastic benefit to the employees, but to save everybody on taxes.
Okay, so let me add just 1 or 2 things. I can answer that question. It's 5 employees minimum to 25,000. We'd be happy to do that, and 50,000 or 100,000. There was one thing that Brad mentioned, that it's called an MEC, minimally essential coverage, and there are 2 ways that works. For most companies under 49 employees, generally, health insurance isn't something that employers want to spend the money on. So they're not buying a major medical plan for their employees. Sometimes they'll offer it, but the employee has to pay all of it. This essentially is coverage that, although it does not have hospitalization, it's something that we need to mention, it can sit by itself as minimally essential. If you have 50 or more employees in the United States, as an employer, you must supply health insurance. And for many companies, that actually can be the difference between being profitable and not profitable, fortunately or unfortunately for their employees. We have many clients who keep their employee count 49 or less and set up multiple LLCs so that they go crazy with their payroll and their reporting requirements and taxes, but they don't have to buy health insurance. This provides an equivalent policy that the ACA recognizes as health coverage. So it's very, very important to know that this is something that can actually help companies recombine their multiple companies, which we've had some do, but can give their employees some sort of protection that they otherwise wouldn't have.
Let me answer Matt's other question. Can companies get employees to chip in and share in the cost? Remember, after the tax savings, there really is no cost to this. The net cost is a net positive for everyone. Now, every once in a while, there's an employee that might be negatively impacted. Maybe they just don't work enough hours, or their pay is so low. We rarely encounter that in California, that their pay would be negatively impacted. In that case, we give the employer the option of offering it to the employee or not. And a lot of employers will step up and say, I want my whole team to have this. If there's a shortfall for this particular employee, I'm going to cover the difference. And Gary made me think of one more thing. There's another soft dollar savings in this, but it's also pretty significant. In California, workers' comp premiums are based on total payroll, in part on total payroll. So remember, we're reducing payroll to the tune of $1,200 per employee per month with this. That will have a significant impact on their workers' comp premiums. Without having to change brokers or plans, they will see a reduction in their workers' comp premiums, sometimes as much as they're saving on all the other taxes that we've talked about today. And that's California. I think there's 41 other states that calculate their workers' comp the same way.
So let me add, and we'll keep answering questions that come up on here, but I just want to give an example. A 10 or 11 person firm will, and the way we propose it to their employer is, you have just given your employees roughly, as Brad said, we have a low end one and we have a higher end one. There's 11 employees. You just gave them an $18,000 raise over the next 12 months. And this is an exact example. We did this in December, that he gave his 11 employees an $18,000 raise without a penny out of the owner's pocket. He saved, in that particular case, between $5,000 and $7,000 in cash flow. And we really don't know what his workers' comp is. So in that particular one, we're not sure. However, in a 100-person firm that has a pretty high workers' comp rate, because they're a security company, their employees are going to get a $120,000 raise without the employer taking one penny out of their pocket. Now, if you say it to employee 98 and he got more in his pocket than employer number 2, it may not be the same to the employee, but to the employer who has to initialize this, they just gave their employees a $120,000 raise, saving about $80,000 in cash flow in matching taxes, and very significant workers' comp, between $25,000 and $50,000 reduction. They pay about $250,000 in workers' comp. So they are very happy. And as I typed in there, and I relate this all the time because I smiled so much when months ago, one of the payroll people said, and she was right on here on a Zoom, and she looked up at the camera and she said, well, why wouldn't everyone want to be on this? And I went, exactly. Why wouldn't you want to get money back? It's something that you're not used to. It is definitely different. We are the first company to offer it in this app. The fact that you can, if you've got a smoking issue or maybe an Ozempic issue, as Oprah was on TV last night, you can talk to someone about it over and over and over again and get good guidance. So it's really unique. And what Brad and I love doing is that we know we're making the world healthier. And we intend to do that one company at a time until we have hundreds of thousands of people on this.
Thank you very, very much. So I have several questions. Do you have a page that shows your numbers and how to get a hold of you, or do you just want to put that in the chat?
Our phone, we'll put it in the chat, but our phone numbers are literally right under our screens. I will put it in chat right now.
If you can see them, because everything's so long, champion, such a long word. So could you stop sharing so we could see each other?
Sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. Don't mind that at all. Krista Sell just showed up. So I have a few questions, because you were talking about this being pre-tax dollars. So the person got a bunch of money reduced from having to pay their taxes. Now, at the end of the year, are they going to owe taxes on this money now that they got, that they didn't pull money out? If you understand that question, I hope.
No, I understand perfectly. No, it's literally reducing the taxable portion of their pay. So no, it's not going to be a case where they owe the money back later.
It doesn't show up later.
That's right.
Okay. And then you said that they had non-doctor, like you could go see a chiropractor, you could see a reflexologist, you could get your wrinkles taken away, like all those things
Well,
that are, it's,
wrinkles
well,
taken away.
health. There's
That's
mental health. What about mental health? Like, is all that also covered?
yeah, definitely mental health. That's definitely covered. But no, cosmetic or elective surgery, no, this is not going to pay for those consultations and that cost.
That is mental health, by the way. You're laughing. You can laugh all you want, but some people see that as a little distressing.
I
Okay,
agree.
each person is different. So you have this phone that does this thing on your face, but because each person is different, is it still able to read the what's going on with you?
Yes, it's amazing. Remember, you're holding your phone on video mode for
30
30
seconds.
seconds. And the app, the artificial intelligence in the app is able to look at your face. Don't ask me how. It's right out of Star Trek. You know,
Good.
we've tested, we've looked at the numbers it gives us and compared it to real world readings. And it's really accurate. The whole point of that is when the employee can visually see something going yellow or red, they're more likely to take action to treat it and not just stick their head in the sand, especially when the app prompts them and says, "You look, you should speak to a medical professional about this. I can get one on the app for you right now, or we can schedule an in-person visit." Either way, it's going to be a zero cost doctor's visit.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any questions? Matt, you look like you're thinking about some questions to ask.
Let me see. So sounds like a supplemental insurance plan that the employee pays.
No, it's not really
Excuse me,
insurance.
employer.
Yeah, it's not insurance. And remember, both the employee and the employer are kicking in a little bit here. But what they're kicking in is more than offset by the tax savings. So they're actually they're in a positive position by putting themselves on this plan. This is not health insurance. It's not meant to replace health insurance. It's an adjunct for health insurance. Now, if you happen not to have health insurance, it meets the requirement, as we mentioned earlier, for minimum essential coverage. But it does not have hospitalization and things that health insurance has.
And how does Champion Health get paid?
Well, that $44 admin fee that goes to Champion Health, and the fee to the employee also. That's how Champion Health pays for this. They don't work for free.
Yeah.
Remember, again, and it is something that's very unusual. So, and watching those numbers, I was typing that all of the technical part happens at the payroll company. It's seamless to the employee, but the employee is saving in most average instances about $325, but the plan costs $190. So they're net 125 or so. If you're a higher paid employee, you may be net 400, 500, 600. Depends on. We've had some people in the $400,000 or $500,000 range that are really net significant numbers. But there is a cost. And then if you noticed, I also put down current. Now I forgot what it means myself. CPT codes. Every time that somebody goes to the doctor, they are able to bill for some of that. And there are some small things that you need to do, maybe 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a month, where you're watching a video and the company is able to bill for that. And that's how the cost gets established. But I think it's important to note that essentially this keeps everybody healthy. And it takes a while for them to get to understand it, but it is extraordinarily beneficial. There's also something in the situation where if you recommend companies to us, I mean, we get paid directly by Champion, where there is no cost for our services from the employer, and we will work a referral fee for clients who refer other businesses to us. We are trying to do this throughout the entire country. We've worked with companies now in Chicago, Michigan, Florida, Texas, and of course, most of them here in California, because that's where we are. but it's really been an honor to be able to help people and see people be helped with their health. And I'm going to give you one example. Brad kind of touched on it. We have a young lady who got a urinary infection as part of an HMO, and she was in pain. And as I can quite understand, and the HMO said, "We'll see you in 2 weeks." And we went, "What?" And she called the concierge service. And the concierge service is something akin to what many of you may not know in the industry, a TPA, a third party administrator. They basically help all these companies putting them together. And they knew the administrator of her HMO. They picked up the phone, just like one of us would know somebody in our industry, and said, "Hey, we got this client. We're advocating for her. You need to see her." She got in 2 days later. One other time, she had a broken arm. Same girl. And urgent care helped her, but then they helped get her in another day or so after that to get it casted. So she knows how to use the advocacy service. That alone is amazingly important. Excuse me.
Thank you. Well, I have another question for all the people that aren't covered in this. What about 1099 people?
No, and you have to be a W-2 employee. You know what? There's another third-party company that offers this to 1099 employees. Yeah, we can refer 1099 employees to that company.
And what about people that don't have insurance and are retired or not working?
I don't know the answer to that one because it's all based on payroll taxes. So I don't know. We don't know yet if you can. Much of what we're doing is so new that we don't know the answer. We're actually going out to visit with Champion Health next month. They're taking myself and Brad and just a few of the rest of us that are doing this. And we're going to, I guess you'd consider a deep dive, but we're going to ask these questions. But it has worked wonderfully for what it's presented for, which is a business owner saving the business owner cash flow and allowing them to run their business a little bit better. Imagine 50, 80,000 of cash flow that you no longer are presenting. You can certainly do a lot with that. And we have companies, I don't know where everybody is here today, but we've got companies in Van Nuys, we've got companies in Canoga Park, we've got companies in Ventura, we've got companies in Los Angeles and Phoenix. We have helped San Diego. We are all over the California area at this point.
And the minimum is 5 employees, correct?
Yes, 5 employees that actually take the program, not just 5 employees.
Oh, but you'd have to, so if everybody came on, it's still 5 employees, but the minimum is 5 employees must take the program. Okay.
Correct. And very similar
Do
to
people not take the program?
well, that's what some people don't understand. And they're very interesting. Now you have a 3-year-old who gets sick and you call them at 3 a.m. It's what I was typing. And the concierge service helps you. They get a doctor. You take a picture of your child's throat. They order a prescription from CVS. It gets delivered at 4 a.m. And now at the water cooler, if anyone even does that anymore, or maybe on another Zoom in the morning, you tell all of your other employees, "Hey, I used the service. Oh, I didn't take that. Well, I better get it." And we'll get people on right away. So that's the way it tends to happen. There are some people who just don't understand that they're going to get more money. That's what our job, Brad and I, not only show that this is a health plan, as Brad said, it's not health insurance because it doesn't have major medical. If you really get hurt, you can't go to the hospital with this plan, but it keeps you healthy. We explain to people how it's going to work, and some people are a little uncomfortable until they learn about it.
Well, a lot of people that don't know, trust me, I know a little bit about this. Most people don't know how to do math. They don't understand how it works. And until they actually see it, there's always the trust factor. We don't believe you until we see it, kind of thing. So just doing a math class could help you get more people to come on right then and there. Here you're talking to a lot of real estate people. We're pretty good with our math, but there are people, I've talked to people and they're like, I don't understand that. Could you show me in a different way? Because it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not getting it. And there's just people that aren't very good with their math.
I'll urge this question. Has anyone here actually heard of this plan before at least from this company, there are some things in the business and the health business called cafeteria plans. That's where Brad said they've been around for years. Thank you, Angel. I see you shaking your head. And they do not work the same. This is not an HSA. This is really a plan where it benefits the employee financially and health-wise. And it's not the same where you pick what you want from a cafeteria plan as part of your cost savings. And it's not Aflac. We've had a lot of people say, oh, well, I only have to provide help. Well, you know, it's Aflac you pay for. And if you buy a heart attack and you have a brain aneurysm, you don't get covered. This covers everything. So it's very, very different than any of the other plans that are being offered.
The reason why they're equating it to Aflac is because when you move into Aflac, it takes everything into pre-tax, and so it makes your paycheck go up. My first year teaching, getting Aflac made my take home $1,001 a month instead of $998. I didn't get paid very much as a first year teacher.
But what health were you trying to protect against?
I just wanted to make my paycheck go up.
Oh, okay.
Went up like $3.
It put me over 1,000.
Oh, it went up 1,000?
No, it put me up over 1,000. My take home was
Yeah, right.
It was
$1,001.
like, yeah,
$998 to $102. Yeah.
The $3 means a lot when you're making that little.
Was that a
Well,
week?
the other,
Go
I
ahead.
like
Chuck.
so the
I
other,
like the fact, Peggy, that you did the math.
yeah,
Okay.
and then when you use Aflac, it pays the employee. It doesn't pay the hospital, it doesn't pay the doctor. That money goes to the enrollee.
No, let's ask your question again, because I don't think that.
No, she's right. She's talking, Aflac is an indemnity plan. They pay the employee, the employee directly if they have a medical event.
Right. So
Right.
if you pop on the hospitalization plan for Aflac with the CHAMP plan, you'd have quite a bit covered. And you could even throw the medical on and right, and
Yeah, the
cover some of the
Aflac
other.
plans cover the big stuff. The CHAMP plan covers the small stuff.
Right, they would pair nice together.
Yeah.
And that's one of the questions on all the forums is about insurance. Are you on Medicare or Medicaid, and do you have a supplemental plan? So this would be a supplemental plan. And like what
Actually,
Jared says-
that's come up before. It would not be considered a supplemental plan.
What?
Yeah. So it's for example, with Medicare, it's not gonna take this into consideration when doing billing.
Okay.
But I do urge you all, I put in, and I'm on my computer, I'm not sure it looks the same. I put in a little 1-minute video, and I put in both of our email addresses and our website, and you can call either one of us. We work. Boy, sorry about that. Can't stop my phones. And they're all robocalls.
Okay.
Yeah. So we work together. I generally handle the initial introduction, some of the sales end of it, and Brad handles all the paperwork or electronic digital paperwork. There really is hardly any paperwork, and follows through. And then together we work with a company to make sure that we onboard their employees and chat with them either in person if they're local. If it's big enough, we'll fly somewhere, and if not, we do lots and lots of Zooms. But we try to really take care and hold people's hands.
Okay. Well, I'll see who I can think of. We don't qualify because everyone that works with us is a 1099, so doggone. In one sense, yay, in the other.
By next month, we may be able to take care of you. We will talk to you after April 15th.
Okay, that'll be great. Matt, do you ever come up with a question?
I'm good.
Okay,
Thanks.
good. Jay, you're a gal that thinks a lot. Any questions from you? Okay, and David. David, it's unusual for you to be this quiet. So he might be doing something else also. Chris, I know you just came in, so you missed a lot of it. We're gonna send you the recording.
Sorry, I was smiling and dialing. So
Oh, that's okay. We're gonna send you the recording so you could listen to it. And if you know anybody that's got a business and has more than 5 employees, call Gary and Brad.
And it's nice to see you, Chris. We're still selling those tomato chips, so we're trying. It's still a struggle.
You wouldn't be if you hired us, but that's another topic for another time. So
You wouldn't be hiring them? I mean, you wouldn't be selling?
But no, Chris and I, no, we would be selling more. Chris and I tried to do business in terms of marketing. It just didn't work at the time. But I highly respect what Chris does.
That's great. Okay, well, do you have any more comments, Brad or Gary?
Come on, Brad, come up with some more comments that we can add to. I think, you know, as I mentioned, and it's not something we generally mention, we do take referrals, and it can be very advantageous if we put a 10,000 person group on, or even a 100-person group. It's a monthly referral fee on and on and on.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Just a straight referral fee. It's an ongoing referral fee. That's not
Ongoing referral fee.
That's nice.
Well, Brad and I don't do any advertising. This is everything we do is word of mouth, person to person.
That's great. Well, you know a lot of people, Gary.
I know
Mr. Politician.
I have to do a funny story. I have 5,000 names in my phone. When I get in my car, it says cannot load more than 2,000, and it stops. So I don't know. Acura hasn't figured out how to let me load all my names in my phone in my car phone.
Really?
It's just memory.
Our phone.
You know, it's Acura. I just got a new one, and it's still the same thing. So maybe eventually when they adjust it, and I just pick up my phone and I use the number there anyway. But I did get my wife a new Lexus, and I must say it's better than the Acura. I'm just not. It's an NX. It has a big screen, and boy, she voiced where we wanted to go the other day because she doesn't know left from right, and I was astonished. Yeah, not north from south, left from right either. I was astonished at how well it picked up the name of the street and where we wanted to go, and it immediately started us off. The Acura one is terrible. I just know where I'm going. You can drop me anywhere. I know up, down, north, south. So kind of like there's a compass built in here.
Did you do a lot of hiking as a young man?
No, but I did a lot of bicycle riding in New York City. I always, before I moved here, just a small aside, the ocean was on the east. It took me 10 years to learn that the ocean was west. And then I knew if I went to the left, I was heading west most of the time in California.
Yeah, I have that problem when I'm in the east. I always want the west to be the ocean. Yes, Jonna.
Angel's got a question in the chat. What about schools?
Oh, absolutely. Private schools that I can, private school employees absolutely would qualify. They'd be W-2, most likely. It does, I don't think we mentioned this. It should be 30 hours or more. It's designed for full-time employees, but there are ways to work other things out. We would love to do some verticals. Right now, I'm working amazingly with pest control companies. They have 7 to 10 employees. You really get to speak to the owner. You get it explained. And many of those people have no coverage at all. We're working with landscape companies, same thing. They don't have any type of health protection. And so we're looking very specifically for certain verticals. Nursing homes, same thing. You'd be amazed that the nurses and even the assistants in doctors' offices, where there's 5 or 7 young ladies usually, but sometimes there's men nurses, they don't provide them any health insurance. And the doctor usually doesn't take care of the people who are there in their office. And we're finding that we can offer this program too. So we're looking and becoming experts in certain areas where we know their business, and the real estate business being the same. I'm certainly looking out with all those people I've known for 20 and 30 years. I'm calling back everyone and trying to work within who they know. So as I said, as a referral fee, if someone knows other businesses within their business area and they refer them, it's a very nice warm referral, and we're calling them and working together.
And 30 hours is considered full-time?
Yes. Correct,
Okay.
Brad? 29 or 30? I was 30.
Right.
He shaking
Yeah,
his head.
because a lot of retail stores need a lot of people for weekends and nights, and so well, I don't know whether they get 30 hours or not, but they do like to shift everybody around. So they get all their hours covered because they're open. Most of them are open 10 to 9. So-
Unfortunately, today's work, like Target and all those, they try to keep everybody as low as possible and shift them around. It's a very unfortunate situation to work for a large company like that. It's very disruptive of your lifestyle.
Well, maybe they need to have a conversation with you.
Maybe. But I think, again, smaller companies,
Sure, mom and pop.
10 to 100 employees, we can get right to the owner and we can convince them, and the dollars are huge to be saved. I'm actually talking to iHeartRadio. It's probably going to take a year. There's 10,000 employees. I'm doing advertising with my tomato chips there. So I was introduced to the HR people, but we'll see.
Wait, tomato chips?
Oh,
Yes,
you know about
we'll see.
Gary's tomato chips? All
What
right.
do what do you dip them in?
Top
What
of
kind
the
of salsa
hour.
do you dip them in?
Wait a second. It's the
Hold
top
on,
of
we're
the
gonna-
hour, but we'll give you another 30 seconds to do your tomato chips.
I manufacture tomato chips. They're available in Ralph's and online at justpurefoods.com. I'll put it in there. They are made from tomatoes in Mexico. My partner's a $150 million tomato farmer, and many of the tomatoes are misshapen. So we take what he used to plow under and we turn his trash into cash. We upcycle the tomatoes into this product. You can eat them on their own. They're jalapeno, barbecue cheese, or you can use them in a dip or break them on top of a salad. And anybody knows any connections there? I'm talking with Mendocino about making a tomato chip salad at the Mendocino Sandwich. Fresh Brothers is considering putting it on their pizza now. And we're bringing him to summer camps so that the kids will come home and say, hey, Mom, I just got this great product that I have these. Here's the bag. Please order some. Buy some at Ralph's. So, I've been doing it 13 years, $2 million invested and no profit yet. So that's what the life of an entrepreneur in a business is like.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here today. Brad, thank you for the presentation. Gary, thank you for all your input and knowledge. And it's always a pleasure to have you here. And I hope you'll come back again, especially after April 15th, when you've opened it up for more different varieties of people.
Great. Let me just say hi to Marcy Green. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hi, Marcy. We have to talk offline.